do you have anything on the calendar for today? Yeah, it's a good thing if you don't. No, yeah, that's true. Hey, that's right, got a road name.
He does have a road name.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, back to Jackson. Would you open us with prayer, please, sir? We need it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dear Heavenly Father, as we come before you, we ask you to bless us in a special way. We ask for your blessing upon this meeting, Lord. Lead and guide us with your wisdom. Show us the way that we should go, Lord. As we remember the people in Ukraine, Father, bless them, Lord. Let every man, woman, boy, and girl have peaceful sleep tonight, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, sir. All right. Just a little business up front. Any senator who's already presented their bill, they don't have to do it again. It's only a one-time deal. It's not that we don't like to look at y'all, it's just once is enough. So if you've already presented your bill, you don't have to redo it. All right, for those of you who have study committees requested, those normally are heard on sine die. So I know I've been getting a lot of calls and all people who have study committees won't know when their study committee is going to be put on the floor. For those who are selected, they will be heard on sine die. In addition, as far as study committees are concerned, you don't have to pass a bill to get a study committee. You can appoint study committees out of your standing committee. Much easier. Don't have to go through this HR House resolution process. You can just go ahead and appoint one out of your committee. But the members do have to be part of your committee for them to get per diem. Okay. One other little bit of information and then we'll get started. Do I hear a move to recommit Senate Bill 259 back to committee?
So moved.
And move in a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. It's gone. Okay. Yes, ma'am. What's your bill number?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. It's Senate Bill 108.
Okay. I don't think it's on the yellow sheet. 108. Okay, go ahead. Tell us what it does.
Thank you. To the chairman and the committee, I bring to you today Senate Bill 108 to create the Georgia Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. This will focus on blindness advocacy and service delivery with a focus on employability and the quality of life. As it stands now, these duties are with the Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency. Blind persons really want to work, they want to be useful, and they feel that they can work if they're given an opportunity. And so this will create this commission, and two of those persons will be, there will be 6, and 2 of those persons from the blind and visually impaired will be 2 appointed by the governor, 2 appointed by the lieutenant governor, and 2 will be appointed by the Speaker of the House. It would also provide services for deaf, blind people so that they can feel that they are wanted and needed because they really want to work. It's all about self-sufficiency.
Okay.
Are there questions?
No, ma'am, no questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Senator Robertson, I thought I saw you yesterday.
You're correct, Mr. Chair, and I apologize for you having to see me 2 days in a row, but I do appreciate the opportunity to discuss Senate Bill 553. It's on the back of the blue sheet, third from the bottom. What this bill does is it basically does for boating what we've done for automobiles. It allows 15-year-olds to be able to operate the 3 classes of boats here in Georgia under the supervision of an 18-year-old or older who has the capability of taking control of the watercraft should there be any problem.
Okay, I see no questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Tillery. Why aren't you working on our budget, getting it all put together, and so we can vote on it and go home?
Well, Mr. Chairman, if we're just going to agree to the houses, then I don't have any work to do.
All
So
right.
it's probably.
My kind of answer. Hey, I want to tell y'all, if you want a hard job in the legislature, do what Chairman Tillery and Chairman England do. You know, it's not a January through April 4th position. It starts as soon as this session gets over. So I want to thank you for what you do. So go ahead on your bill, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, but I'd say that we can't do that without you and others helping us. You guys give us a lot of leeway and trust us with our decisions, and thank you for backing a lot of the decisions that we make on your behalf, so thank you. Senate Bill 363 is a Fair Business Practices Act. The House actually started this idea last year with Representative Marcus Wiedauer. And if you have an LLC or an incorporation, you can renew those annually for $50 a year with the Secretary of State's office. There's become a cottage industry where they send out notifications to folks that say, you know, pay this much and you can get all these documents, and they make it look like it's something that you have to do. Representative Wiedauer tackled that last year. Before this session started, I have received 12 personally at our law firm for LLCs and incorporations we had started. So talking with Representative Wiedauer, I said, could we possibly put a few more teeth in this? He was so kind to work with us. The teeth that this Senate Bill 363 does is actually puts a penalty on it, a dollar penalty of $200 if you don't follow what Representative Wiedauer said originally, and it allows those cases to be aggregated as a class. No one's probably bringing a lawsuit for $200 by itself, but if they've sent out 1,000 of these, then you've got obviously a lot larger damages, and makes it where someone could bring a class action to end it. And if this body agrees to put it on the House floor, Representative Wiedauer's agreed to carry it.
Okay, Mr. Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator, isn't it true that I, too, at my law office, for people I've incorporated, just get these things seemingly all the time? And even though I see these, I call them fake mailings, I have to do a double take sometime because they try to make them so look like a government document that I need to attend to. I can't imagine how many of our Georgia citizens are being unnecessarily having to spend money to do something that they can do themselves, and this will be a good measure to go towards stopping that dubious practice.
Yes, sir, and I think if it does make it to the House floor, Representative Wiedauer has a stack of them that he's going to bring to show. The state flag on it, the way it's phrased, does seem to be somewhat concerning.
Mr. Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the author of the bill, I too want to say thank you for working on this, because is it not true that this board is on being a scam?
Yes, sir.
I mean, oftentimes, is it not true? Oftentimes, clerical staff, well-meaning, if you got accounts payable set up, will pay it thinking it's a legitimate bill when it is not. So.
Yes, sir, and I have a client who allowed me to say this. It's he's a medical physician, so it's not only you can be highly educated and still be misled by the way that these documents are written.
Thank you.
Were the documents drafted by an attorney? Okay, that's all the questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Mr. Gooch.
Good morning.
Morning.
Come back to you today bringing Senate Bill 529. It's on the second page of your blue sheet. It's dealing with the franchise fees. We talked about yesterday the streaming services, the fact that Georgia law does not provide for franchise fees for Netflix and those kinds of apps on your TV. So this bill just prevents those cities out there that are trying to collect that fee from being able to collect them.
Who's number 72? Oh, okay. Chairman Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator. Just real quick, we differentiating here between, I guess, satellite versus maybe a landline-based cable, and how does that extend into the future based on, how we view those two different
Sure.
Entities?
So, as you're probably aware, we talked about this too. Franchise fees are basically rental fees or lease fees for the use of public right-of-way. So if a city or county allows for a utility line or telephone cable or whatever to be put in their right-of-way, then they charge a franchise fee for the use of that right-of-way. That's to help the cities maintain that right-of-way. Satellite dishes don't use wires. They're not tied to the city right-of-way, so therefore you don't charge a franchise fee to the satellite providers. What we're seeing in 3 areas in Georgia are 2 cities or 2 counties in a city trying to assess a franchise fee on Netflix and those kinds of apps, and they're not using the right-of-way, and so therefore Georgia law doesn't allow that kind of fee to be assessed on those streaming services at this time. And I know that there's an interest in this chamber to try to get rid of the franchise fees or go to a consumer service tax or what have you. This doesn't touch any of that. This strictly says Georgia law does not allow you to assess a franchise fee on those downloading services at this time. So therefore, those cities and counties that are trying to do so should not be able to succeed. There is a lawsuit that's pending. It's in an appeals court that would basically favor this legislation. So this is just trying to put some belts and suspenders on that ruling.
And if I may follow up, Mr. Chairman, Senator, I actually, the intent is I totally would agree with, and I think that's the only thing is that we're touching definitions, and I'd like to get with you maybe offline and
Sure.
when we touch these definitions of, wouldn't want any unintended consequences, so to speak. But thank you so much for.
You're welcome. And the intent's not to change the definitions of what a franchise fee is. It's already codified in Georgia law. All we're trying to do is just to make it clear that municipalities cannot and shall not assess franchise fees against these streaming services. A consumer sales tax is a totally different ballgame. That's not in code yet either, but I understand your intent maybe in the future to try to get to that point. We'll love to have that discussion as well.
Mr. Hawkins.
Yes, Senator, I think you've become the expert in high-speed internet and all. Talking about franchise fees, I know we had an issue a few years ago about local municipalities and some counties charging the DOT fee.
Yes.
Which is extremely high. Refresh my memory, did we change that?
We did. We changed that. That bill actually came back to you all last session for an agree. And just a couple of weeks ago, Representative Montahan agreed to the Senate substitute in that, and now it's on the governor's desk for signature. So it lowers it to 15 cents per foot per year on that fee instead of it was roughly $5,000 per mile per year. So we've reduced it greatly in that new bill.
15 cents a mile?
Yes, 15 cents per foot. So that's
per foot.
About 2,000.
Okay.
I think it's about 2,000. My memory's bad, but it's less than half of what it was.
It's 5,280 feet in a mile.
That's right.
I know that part.
Times 15 cents.
I know.
So it's roughly a fourth of what it was, and it's much lower, which is good to drop the cost of regulations. So
Very expensive to put cable in and then maintain it.
Absolutely.
Those kind of DOT fees. Thank you.
No more questions. Thank you, sir.
thank you so much.
Mr. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues on the Rules Committee and friends in the back, I'd like to introduce you to a gentleman who's a friend of Chairman Hitchens and mine, Dr. John Odom, who is our physician of the day today. He's standing in the back of the room. If you'll give him a warm welcome, I'll tell you a little bit about him. First, well, I'm going to tell you, Barry, I've known him to practice all sorts of medicine. If you'll step by the health cottage downstairs, I'll call it, he'll diagnose and treat you. I can tell you, because he truly is a physician who takes the Hippocratic Oath seriously. I can assure you of that. He's practiced and ministered to my family and a lot of folks that I know, and he is. He's one of the principals in Metro Surgical in Savannah. More than that, he's He practices at the Candler St. Joe Hospital and some rural hospitals around Georgia, and he's been a champion for training surgeons as they come out of different Mercer and Medical College of Georgia to make sure they receive the right kind of on-hands training so they can practice medicine in rural Georgia. Dr. Odom, we are very pleased to have you here today. Thank you for what you do for Georgia, and we just wish you continued success, and thanks again for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. John told me he had or the leader told me he had a friend. I told him he didn't know. I didn't know he had any. So, okay. Well, since we have nobody else on the wall, I guess we can set the calendar for tomorrow, which will be the 38th legislative day. And pickings are getting slim. Mr. Williamson, do you have something? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I don't believe I've ever formally asked for House Resolution 1025 that would recognize copper for the critical minerals list.
Okay.
I'd just like to do that this time.
Well, I don't see. Oh, hold on. Here, Lady Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm jumping on the House Resolution request. I have House Resolution 1050 at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Okay, 1025. Okay. Anybody else got one? Mr. Williamson, would you tell us why that you want copper?
Yes, sir. Copper has been inadvertently, I would argue, inadvertently left off the critical minerals list. We were once a net exporter of copper in the United States of America, and now the Chinese produce 43% of the world's supply of copper, and everything we have, from the microphone I'm using right now, the cars we ride in, to all of our homes are heavily reliant on copper, and I'd like to see this mineral be added back to our critical minerals list. I believe it's a national security issue.
Okay. I got a problem with copper because that's normally what the rings on a husband's nose are made out of. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a bipartisan resolution, H.R. 881, that I'd like to ask for.
Okay. Don't see anybody else's button pushed. Okay. We will set the calendar for day 38, Wednesday. H.R. 625, did I hear us move? Move. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. H.R. 1025, do I hear a move? Move. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 343, do I hear a move? Move. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. It's on. Senate Bill 363, do I hear a move? Move. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 404, do I hear a move? Move. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 553, do I hear a move? Move. Got a move and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. It's on. So let's read out the numbers again. H.R. 625, 1025, Senate Bill 343, Senate Bill 363, Senate Bill 404, Senate Bill 553. That's the calendar for tomorrow. And don't forget, we're still under 33.3. Thank you.